Whoop. Let's get the right one up there. Good morning, everybody. This is Dave Finale, and we are in a different place today than we were last week. And we are in, hold on, I'm just trying to put my stuff up here. Hey, hello, everybody. Dave Finale here, Real Estate Talk TGIF. What a terrible start to the 312th week in a row of Real Estate Talk TGIF. Anyway, this is episode 316. We have done 4 extra episodes, which included a couple of great Cheplaks and some other ones, but we are 312 weeks in a row. This has been 6 years of something I started that I saw someone doing a bad job of a long time ago, and I said, I can show up every week. And here I have showed up every Friday, except for one, and that was a Saturday, so we did not miss that week. It was 312 weeks in a row, and I have my friend, my coach, my mentor, an overall great guy, Grant Wise, to join me today. Hey, Grant, how you doing, man?
Wonderful, man. I'm pumped to get to start my day with you.
Well, it's really cool because I happen to be actually our times are different because I am 9 hours different than you are right now. You are 6 a.m. Pacific time. This is being broadcast 9 a.m. Eastern time, and I am at 3 p.m. European Central time because I happen to be in this nice little place known as Sorrento, Italy. I don't know if you can see the Amalfi Coast behind me, but that is the Bay of Naples. I think it's the Bay of Naples. So anyway, here we are. We're here to talk about real estate, although we're in different locations. And I'm really excited because I get to talk to a guy that taught me everything about marketing on social media, taught me everything about a lot of things. You've taught me about how to grow as a human being, and our ages are a little bit different. We have an ongoing battle, if anybody didn't know, about where's the best steak in the United States or in the world. And hopefully I get the opportunity to take you to one of the places that I consider that shortly. Anyway, Grant Wise, thanks so much for being on today. Before we get started, hit the video, Nelson.
Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Finale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team.
Good morning, everybody. We're back here. It's 9 a.m. Eastern time, and we are here with Grant Wise, and this is Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you from all over the world today. And Grant, thanks so much for coming on. I have one question before we start, and that question is really simple. What does TGIF stand for?
Thank God it's finale.
That's so easy, right? And would you believe that most people get it wrong? But the last few weeks, honestly, people have said, wait a minute, and they give me the right answer. Anyway, Grant, you know what? You've I told people what you mean to me. Now I want you to talk about your life, how you started your journey and being let's just give you a little bit of the stuff here. You are the #1 Chief Growth Officer for top agents and team leaders in North America. You've provided free training to over 80,000 real estate agents globally and have coached over 4,200 agents, including myself. Your strategies, and we're going to talk about this later, described as a cheat code for attracting new clients. So, and you've also worked with side by side and with, great, one of the top teams, the RE/MAX team in Canada, Justin Havre, Gary Ashton, the top team in the world. Carrie Shull, you've worked alongside of people like Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, John Cheplak, Veronica Figueroa, Sunit Agarwal, along with, others, including Kendall Bonner, right, who is our guest next week. So the great thing about everything that we're doing here and having you on is to promote the real estate business and help as many real estate agents as we possibly can. That's what Real Estate Talk TGIF is all about. So as we get started to talk about all the things you're doing now to help agents and team leaders, I got to know your journey. We got to help people with your journey to see where you came from, for people to understand that nobody starts where you are.
Yeah, 100%. Because I remember back when I was getting started, looking at everybody saying, "Man, can I just be there today? That would be amazing." Right. I don't want to go through all these trials and tribulations to get there, but I had to. We all have to. So I got started in the real estate space when I was 21. Actually, I started a real estate brokerage. And my job within the brokerage was to travel around the country and set up offices. And then I would help recruit agents to those brokerages. And we wanted to be in 500 markets in about 5 years. And I think what every young entrepreneur wants. I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to buy nice cars and houses, go on trips, and I wanted to create freedom for myself through real estate. And I think there's a lot of people that can connect with that. It's why a lot of people go into real estate. But I think more than anything, I wanted to build something that would give me the opportunity to create a life for my family that I really never had. So I'll never forget, as I'm traveling around the country and going from city to city doing these meetings with agents, that I could show them how we would pay them an extra $50,000 a year. And all they had to do was change brokerages. And what shocked me the most is that agent after agent after agent wouldn't do it. I could never wrap my brain around it.
Shocker.
And so as I'm traveling around the country and it's just not growing the way that we want it to, and I'm striking out in these conversations, I really started to feel like a failure, man. I mean, I was burning myself out, and it was like reinforcing this kind of almost deep-seated belief that I have that I wasn't very smart. I didn't get good grades in school. I was laughed at when I was trying to make it. And as I just kept failing and failing and failing, I was starting to feel like a failure. And it didn't really help that a lot of the people that were the closest to me, people that we brought in to help grow the company and family and friends, they were all starting to lose their faith in me too. And it really stunk. So eventually I was asked to leave the company that I started. And I did not want to because it was my company and my name was on the sign. And I was just really challenged by it. But after thinking about it, I decided to turn the company over, and I turned it back over to the investors that I had brought in to help grow it. And I was out on my own. And after a week of wondering what in the hell I was going to do with my life, I decided I would go teach real estate agents what I had been trying to teach these agents all along. And I would teach them how to use social media, and I would teach them how to use video. I would teach them how to use advertising. So with a few dollars to my name, I put out some advertising campaigns to attract agents to me. And these were the glory days of Facebook ads where like everything worked. And this woman, she booked a call to meet with me. Her name was Tanya Thompson. I'll never forget her for the rest of my life. And she ended up buying my social media bootcamp course that I hadn't finished yet, which is a whole nother story. But what was so cool about this experience, Dave, is that she sold 48 houses the first year that we worked together. She made $150,000 in commission income, and it just totally transformed her life. It set her up for a completely different trajectory in the real estate space because a lot of people don't make it in this industry. And that's when all of it hit me. And this weird paradigm. It's like real estate agents don't just want to make more money. They want to learn how to make more money. And so after like having this epiphany, I said, you know what, I'm going to build a legitimate course and I'm going to go out into the marketplace and I'm going to sell this. The only problem with that is I did not know how to create a course. And so I started reading books. I started taking courses. I started joining masterminds. And I really started investing in this understanding of how to build a legitimate training company. And what was really cool is obviously, this is how you and I met. I went on to enroll, I think it was around 1,500 students in just under 2 years into that training. And I actually did end up hitting my goal of being in 500 markets in 5 years, which was awesome. And now I get to be the chief growth officer for top real estate teams and the loan officers all over the US and Canada. I get to work with people that you mentioned, right? Carrie Scholl, Shayla Gifford, Justin Haver, Gary Ashton, Deborah Beagle, and a few more. But I think what I learned was I became a master at marketing and advertising and sales. And I really started to recognize my competency in the space while committing to learning from others and masterminding with the best and showing up and consistently adding value to people so that they could become more successful.
Right.
And that ultimately is what has led me to becoming successful in this space. And I think it's a good lesson for everybody. Is I started out wanting all this stuff for me, and when I flipped and I started out and I changed. And I just wanted to give to everybody else. It's where everything really changed for me.
So with the advertising, the marketing, and everything, you were able to help a lot of agents build their business, and you actually used the same thing to build your
Correct.
business started, right? And you just said that agents don't only want to know they don't only want to make more money, they want to know how to make money. There are some difficulties in that translation as well,
Yep.
because a lot of agents, we agree on this, is they want to know how, but they really don't want to do it, right? I mean,
some do, some don't. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, but you've dealt with a lot that want it just to work like magic, right? And it's and and we both know. I mean, we've both been involved with what you do and what I do and what we've done separate and apart for many years. Where it's like, okay, yeah, oh yeah, that I see how that works. Yeah. Okay, it didn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not always the case. You don't work with those people anymore. Okay,
I really don't.
Why not?
I think that real estate agents are sold on this idea that if you just have to get your license and all of a sudden your life's going to change and you're going to become uber successful and you're going to have nice cars and a lot of money, because what we see on social media is all of the good that's going on in people's lives and businesses. And so we have this false perception. We have this misunderstanding of what it's actually going to take. Real estate, especially today, it's all grit, baby. Like, if you are not willing to just dig deep and find different parts of yourself as a human being, you are not going to make it in this industry. There's too much disruption. There's too much innovation. There's too much change taking place. And it's all taking place at one time. But what I love about that is also, if you're successful today, you can build a life in this real estate industry right now, because it's the people that are truly digging deep. And they're doing what I did. Like, they're
Yes.
reading the books and they're joining the masterminds and they're going to the classes and they're leveling up their skill sets. They're going to make it. But that missing component that I've noticed is grit. And I don't like working with people that don't have the grit. I like working people that don't have it seem to be entitled to this idea that they deserve everything that they want. You don't. You got to work for it.
Well, actually, absolutely. One of the things that I love that I'm able to do now is I've had this saying for a long time and never was able to actually implement it until now, is coach them up or coach them out. And that's really what it's all about. I mean, look, I've said it many times. The reason I walked away from my brokers was I wanted to work with people that wanted to work. I didn't want to work with those people that got their license and thought they were making. Look, we've been through several markets. I've been through many markets where an agent can come in and just be an order taker. And what happens in that time is that during that time, the good agents sometimes forget what they had to do to get to that order taking market. And there's a lot of people that get in the business at that time that turn into order takers and don't know what it's like to actually use, if they even had the grit, to get in there and then start making the money. Right? That makes sense.
Yep.
So all right. So there are certain strategies that you're using, right? Certain strategies that you're using to help agents and team leaders. Are agents and team leaders, your strategies, are they different? Is it a different approach for each of them?
No, in this industry, you got to do three things. You got to get leads, you got to connect with those leads, and then you got to convert those leads. And that's pretty simple. Like, when you boil it down, it's like, okay, well, which lead source do I want? Do I want Zillow or Realtor.com or Facebook or PPC or Sphere of Influence referrals? Great, I got my lead source picked. Now, how am I going to connect with those leads? Well, I'm going to do social media marketing. I'm going to send out email content. I'm going to put out a billboard. I'm going to do X, Y, Z to build my relationship with them. And then, so I got that box checked. Okay. And then how am I going to convert them? Well, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to text. I'm going to email. Whatever your sales process is that is proven to work. And if you can generate leads, you can connect with those leads, and you can convert those leads. I've never seen somebody leverage that formula, obviously, and not sell more real estate. So when you boil that down, yes, agents can learn to implement the same things that team leaders are learning to execute on. There are obviously some differences in how one does business and how the other does business. But
yes,
when you boil it down to its really most simplistic, nature, it is three very simple things: generate leads, build brand, convert customers. That's the game.
Okay, so you got to generate leads. You have to acquire clients. How are you doing that?
The thing that I'm seeing right now, well, a lot of the teams that I work with, they do it in every way, right? They buy
Right,
portal leads
right,
at a
right,
high level.
right.
They do social ads and they do PPC at a high level. Some of the people that I work with they got into the SEO game early on and they're reaping the rewards of that. And then, you've got to have a great referral strategy. That's where most people, I mean, this isn't a secret anymore, right? Like we've got these suite of options, and every team that I work with, they're leveraging all of them. Or after we're working together, they're leveraging mostly all of them. And that's how they're going about acquiring the contacts. And then you get into, well, how are we converting them, or how are we building a relationship with them? The two things that I would say right now is video marketing and email marketing. If you are not doing video marketing and email marketing, you are getting passed up, because society is talking to people less and less and less and less, and they're going and they're doing their own research about you before they ever pick the phone up and want to talk to you. And so these are the two things that I'm leveraging right now, and a lot of the teams that we're working with that are helping us create a relationship direct to that consumer that we know is interested in transacting. And it's having a pretty dramatic effect on the businesses. I got one business, we can tie 68 transactions over the last several months to emails. And so it's a powerful series of strategies. It's not a new thing. It's an old thing, but we're doing it really well.
I want to be clear on email marketing. We're not just doing email marketing, right? It's paired and ponied up with other things, correct?
Yeah, I think that today you look at more or less like, I'm not going to do one thing to close a deal. I'm going to create an experience for my clients. So I'm going to hit them with a call, with a text, with a sales email. And then on the flip side of that, I'm going to do content marketing. I'm going to send emails that are valuable, emails about the community, emails about parks, emails about best steak in town, emails about things that are relevant to the consumer, because people will buy a home. On average, they'll buy 3 homes in their lifetime, which means they're transacting every like 10 to 15 years. It's different in different parts of the world, wherever you're at. But they'll refer an average of 2 people annually to a real estate agent. So it's not about just getting attention and closing a deal. It's about getting attention and keeping it. And if somebody has already bought a home with you, or they bought a home with somebody else, or sold a home with somebody else, and you only talk about real estate, they're going to tune you out until they need to talk about real estate again. But if we're creating content about the community and we're a resource for that person, that's getting attention, and then it's keeping it. So when they think, oh, my friend Joey, he needs a real estate agent, and my name is showing up in your email inbox every day, who do you think is going to come to mind? The moment he thinks real estate, he's going to associate real estate to the name Grant Wise, right? And that's what we try to do with email marketing. But then it's the video content socially. It's, the other traditional media maybe that you're doing. A lot of this stuff, it's not, I don't think that anymore it's, I'm doing this one thing and it's changing everything. I think there are some people that still do that, right? Some people are really good at picking up the phone, and I think business happens over the phone. And they'll sit there and they'll do it for 2 hours, and they'll do it every single day, 5 days a week. Those people never have to worry about making money. Not everybody does that. But then when you layer in the emails, it increases the effectiveness of the calls. When you layer in the video content, it increases the effectiveness of the calls. And so we use calling as the foundation for the framework, because you should be doing that every day. I'm an internet marketer, Dave. In the last 2 weeks, I committed to picking up the phone and making phone calls every day for 2 hours a day. And I've been enjoying the hell out of it. There's no reason for me to really be doing that, because I make most of my money online, but it's had a very interesting effect on me, and it's had a very interesting effect on my suite of companies, which is really fun. But you got your foundational thing that you do, and then these things, when we layer them in, they just they increase the effectiveness of picking up the phone and making calls.
One of the things I like to say when I talk about making calls, and it's one of the biggest things that I do, coming fast forward the last couple of years where we've talked and worked together about what I do and how I do it, is is I believe that making the calls is, for me, for how I work with agents, is the framework. It's the foundation of getting started. And then when you begin to build a relationship, see, the thing about what the video is doing, in my opinion, what the video is doing, what the email is doing, if you haven't already done it over the phone, you're making it easy for that future client, that buyer, that seller, investor, whoever it is. You're making it easier for them to talk to you. A lot of people don't understand that. What they understand is that, oh geez, how do I make this call? How do I do this? They get this anxiety right here, and I always talk about that anxiety. How do you get rid of that anxiety? You make it easy for them to talk to you, and when you're doing that, you're showing value to them. This phrase of, you got, now with everything that's been going on with the changes we're going to see and how business is done over the next couple of months, people, I've heard this phrase, bring value. You've got to bring value, right? Yep. And I heard it so much that it's almost like the bullshit phrase today. Oh, you just got to bring value, right? And
what does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does it mean? Oh, okay, you got to do a buyer presentation. Oh, okay. So how many bedrooms do you need? And that's it, data intake. That's data intake you're always going to do. I mean, what's so special about you? If you can tell me in one sentence or in 3 sentences why I should work with you, that's the important part, right? But that's all involved in everything you're talking about, and everything, the video marketing, the email marketing, and with the calls. If you were a new agent, right? And this is a question I usually ask at the end of the broadcast, but I'm going to ask this now. If you're a new agent or a stock agent, you see all this stuff, you're thinking about leaving the business, and they see this video, or they see one of your videos about, how you can strategically build your business, and increase your sales by leveraging what you're doing and leveraging relationships too. I want to get to that in a second. Where would you tell them to start? Would it be doing video content about the area they live in? Becoming the mayor, as we all know, we've heard that phrase from Gary Vee a long time ago. How would you get them to start? Or what would be the process, or, the advice you'd give them on a quick 5-minute basis?
I have what I call a pyramid of problems. And it's the exact sequence of problems that real estate agents experience, all the way up to becoming business owner, franchise owners, team leaders, starting their own brokerages independent. And it's actually very simple. First problem every new agent has is they don't have any leads. They don't know where their next deal is coming from, which means the first problem that you have to solve as a real estate agent is identifying where your business is going to come from. This isn't just an agent problem. Every business owner in the world has to figure this out. So this isn't new. So first thing you got to do is you got to figure out where you're going to get your leads. Open houses, Facebook ads, PPC, join a team. It doesn't matter to me, but it goes back to what I said earlier in the broadcast. There's 3 things. We got to generate leads, connect with those leads, convert those leads. First problem in the pyramid of problems is you got to generate leads. You got to get opportunities. The second challenge that agents face is understanding how to convert those leads. Okay. And that's a different set of issues. I think that we talk about communicating our value today, which is obviously the buzzword the industry's latched onto, but it's being able to articulate how what you do dynamically addresses the needs of the consumer. Okay. You, as an example, might be able to help people with veterans home purchasing programs. And so that's the thing that you do to help veterans buy properties. You wouldn't use the same program maybe to help somebody sell a property or to buy a home conventionally. So it's just understanding everything that a real estate agent does, the programs that are available, and how those specific steps you take, or those specific programs that exist, solve the needs of the consumer. So you kind of have to map this, but you can only do that by having conversations with people. I have this conversational structure that I teach to people. It's called the value loop. And the entire first half of every conversation is all about one thing: winning a friend. In sales, if you can win a friend, if you can, what other people might call building rapport, if you can connect with the customer, you can convert them. But if you don't, you won't. It's black and white. Like, if you do not get really good at sales, you're going to struggle in real estate. Some people even walk into this industry, Dave, and say, I'm not a salesperson. The hell you aren't. You are a salesperson, homeboy. Like, you don't have a way around this. You're a marketer first. You're a salesperson second. And if you do those two things right, then you get to be a real estate agent. And oh, by the way, it's no different. I don't care if you make cups and you sell them on Amazon. You got to get the market to know about it, and you got to be able to sell people. And so first problem, leads. Second problem, sales. The third problem is once somebody gets leads and then they get good at having the conversations, and I can dive more into that structure in a little bit if you want, but
Yes.
then they start working 60 to 80 hours a week. Their work-life balance goes to hell. Their family's upset. Now they're making money, but nobody's happy. And they have to start learning about systems and processes, using a CRM, leveraging AI to create efficiencies in your business, getting an assistant or a virtual assistant, and starting to really create structure so that you can work 20 to 30 hours a week, which is all it takes, and you can build a very successful business. Fourth problem is structure. Who do I want to be? Do I want to be a solo agent with an assistant? Do I want to start a team? Do I want to buy a brokerage? Do I want to start a brokerage? Going through all that, and then scale. It's the fifth problem. A lot of the people that we're talking about, they're in one of those first three categories. Either I don't know where my next deal is coming from, I'm not converting the leads that I'm getting, or I'm working 60 to 80 hours a week and I'm ready to quit because I have no work-life balance. And that would be the progression. If an agent's listening to this and they've never done a deal in their life, those are the challenges you're going to experience. Right. So you can start to create you can start to develop your skill set around those few things, and you'll have a much easier time building a business. But that's what I see. And that's if I was talking to a new agent today, you don't need business cards. You don't need a logo. You don't need a color scheme. You don't need nothing. You need leads, man. You need to get on the phone and talk to people because you got to get sales coming in. Stop avoiding the work that you need to do.
So devil's advocate, right? So I'm a new agent or I'm a new agent to calling and making the calls and stuff. And you talked about the value loop and I have to win a friend. But damn it, Grant, I am calling for sale by owners. They don't want a friend. They just want to hang up on me and not pay a commission. How do I win a friend?
You win a friend by going into every conversation thinking, what can I give to this person, not what can I take from this person? Everybody picks up the phone with this idea that they're going to get something. I need to get an appointment. I need to get an agreement. I need to get a listing. I need to get this. That's take. Instead of picking up the phone and saying, what can I give to this person? Dave, I saw on Facebook the other day that something happened to your dog, man. I just wanted to give you a call. I hope you're doing all right. How's Charlie doing? I'm assuming that's what you would name your dog if you had one. I don't know what you would name your dog. That's just me reaching out, giving. I'm caring. It's not that complicated of a game. And you know what's another funny statistic is I'm studying these top teams and the performance of their businesses. We've got it broken down to such a science that we know that if the agents will just have 5 2-minute conversations a day, they'll never have to worry about money.
5 2-minute conversations.
5 2-minute conversations a day. That's how simple the business really is. But we've got agents that are afraid to get on the phone, and all we're really wanting agents to do is just pick up the phone and talk to people. You don't have to call everybody and just take stuff. You can call and give to people, pour into people. You remember when I flew out to your office Easter?
Oh boy,
in New York, RZ.
Yes.
We got a Yankees game and to the office the next morning, and you were telling me about everything that was going on. I said, hold up. I said, you got $10 on you? And you said, yeah, why? I said, before we go any further, I want you to go buy a bouquet of flowers and go give them to somebody that you think needs them. You remember what happened when you came back?
Yeah, I do.
Totally different person.
Yep.
It's just, hey, man, whoa, wait a second. We all got problems, but if we only fixate on our problems, right, we're just going to get more problems. Let's change the script and let's change it right now. Dave, go buy somebody some flowers. You came back and I'll never forget it because you're like, man, thanks for that. She was so grateful and appreciative that I did that. And you just weren't even in the same headspace. We had a totally different conversation for the rest of the day. And obviously the rest is history because you made some big moves following that, which have worked out nicely. But I think that when we look at call reluctance, It is this reluctance because people are operating out of alignment with who they really believe that they are. And I'm talking about real estate agents. If a real estate agent does not believe they're good on the phone, or they do not believe they're a salesperson, or they do not believe that people want to talk to them, remember this one for the rest of your life, friends. Your actions will never contradict the beliefs you have about yourself. If you don't believe that you are a salesperson, that you have value to offer, that people want to talk to you, you will never pick up the phone, because you won't act in contradiction to who it is that you believe that you are. I'm an internet marketer. There's no reason for me to pick up the phone and call anybody, but I have been loving the hell out of doing it for the last several weeks. And I haven't picked up the phone and tried to sell anybody anything. I just pick up the phone and call, hey man, how's it going? Hey, Kelly, how's business? And you know what happens? People end up talking about business, and it does lead to sales, but it wasn't my intention. My intention was just to pick up the phone and talk to people.
Yeah, it's very amazing when you take it from a different standpoint and what happens. Yeah, people are still going to hang up on you. I mean, there's no magic pill to anything, and you just have to go from a different point of view of it. And I have several different ways I ask people to practice what they're going to say. And I'm getting away from using the word scripts and all that stuff, as we're talking about conversation skills now. And that's really what it is. And I do that every day with agents I work with when I'm not in Italy. But I do that every day, helping people, with how they're communicating. And
you makes me want to drink fancy.
Hold on, you're breaking up a little bit, Grant. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We broke up there for a minute.
I said the way that you slid up when I'm not in Italy, it makes me want to drink my glass with pinkies out, just fancy, like, oh, that's fancy thing that you slid in there.
I would think that too. But look, you know what? It's about how you're talking to people, not what you're saying. And if you just relax about what it is, I mean, yes, you can use the scripts and dialogues that we all have and we've all been using, and I still have them and I still give them to agents, so that there's a guide, there's a basis of what it is, because it's actually the data intake information that you need that I alluded to before. Basically when you're talking to, for sell by owner, you're talking to a buyer client that calls up on a property or whatever, the data intake is part of it, but it's also a method and a message you're getting across as you're taking that info and how you're asking the question of what you are. I know that it's very simple, that if you take a full script, if you talk differently, it's going to sound completely different. If you just do it differently rather than just reading it. But this is where you go, where we're talking about, the value you're giving, how to win a friend, and that's where it goes. We talked about using your stuff. I mean, you were going to go further on something. I forget what it was. Forgive me.
Sales and communicating your value. Obviously, it's such a trigger topic.
Please go into that a little bit.
And Dave, I actually just released a short course on this. It's about 60 minutes. Actually, I think it's less than 60 minutes. And I can break down in less than 60 minutes. Obviously, it's hard to do in just a couple minutes.
Sure.
Exactly how to communicate your value to people. And Dave, I released a course at $7 whole, right? So it's not like it's an inexpensive thing. And I'll give a gift to your audience after this is done. So if anybody wants to access it, they can do that with a steep discount. So it'll only be $2, but I still want you to have a little bit of money invested in it. If you can effectively communicate your value, and you can dynamically tie that value to the emotional needs of the consumer, you will win business. You'll get your buyer agency rep agreement signed, and you will continue to get paid for the hard work that you do as a real estate professional. But what value do you offer? I think that Realtor.com actually very, very recently did a great job. They took out a piece of news space, and they released this article. It was 111 things that real estate agents do to help buyers navigate the real estate, the transactional process. And I don't have it like quick handy on me, but you should just look it up. Realtor.com, 111 things realtors do, or something like that on Google, and you'll find it. And what I love about it is it's 111 things that real estate agents do. It's reviewing HUD statements. It's negotiating. It's calling and getting people lined up. There's just so many things that people do, and for so long, this industry has been very perceptive. We don't talk about the hard things. We don't talk about the things that go wrong. We don't talk about all the work that we do. No, we just flash the shiny cars and the nice watches and the houses and all that other stuff. And it has created this public perception that real estate agents make too much money and they don't work very hard. And we know that's not real. We know that's not the case.
Right.
So when you look at communicating your value, you understand everything that you do to service the needs of your customers. And then you get really good at having conversations with people and understanding what their dynamic needs are. Like I said earlier, I wouldn't talk to you about my veteran home buying programs if you weren't a veteran. That's a very easy example, but that's how you've got to dynamically understand the needs of your customer. And then you have to be able to do what I call emotional math. You have to be able to dynamically tie the value you offer to the emotional needs of the consumer, because we make decisions with emotion and we validate those decisions with logic. And so get clear as a real estate agent on everything that you do. And then I use the word map. Understand how to map what you do to the emotional needs of the consumer. And if you can do that, you will never have to worry about making money. And you'll also never have to worry about being rejected. You are right. People don't just want to be sold something. That's correct, which is why the first half of my philosophy is all about winning a friend, just picking up the phone and having a casual conversation with somebody and being interested in them. Too many salespeople are active talkers when they should be active listeners. And so anyways, I'm kind of ranting, but my point is get clear on the value that you do offer. There's a lot. I think Realtor.com did a great job in their release of that article. Look it up. And then understand how to tie that value to the emotional needs of the consumer. And then open the door, man. You and I have talked about this in the past, right? Put the video camera on your shoulder and let people see what you're doing. As an industry, we've got to get better showing people all of the work that is involved in a transaction, because right now society believes we don't do anything and we just get paid a lot of money for it. And it's the opposite of truth. It's the opposite of truth. It's so hard to make it in real estate. It's not hard, but it is a lot of work. And if people don't know that you're doing all of that work, they don't believe that they should pay you a lot of money for it.
Yeah, and let me break in here really quickly and say that you do not mean I just got another listing. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about
correct.
People, that's because nobody gives two shits about whether you got a listing or sold one. You sold in 18 seconds for $20 million over asking, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So your strategies that you work with agents and team leaders now, and I'm just going to read it again. Your strategies help agents and team leaders strategically advertise themselves to increase sales. Here's the other thing we did not hit today, is while leveraging vendor relationships to offset expenses. Now, that is something that, what the hell do you mean by that, Grant? I mean, you said it in your video, you say it in your bio. I mean, talk to me more about that. Let me understand what you mean by that.
Yeah. I founded a company called comarketing.com, which I think was just luck on my part. For years, real estate agents have been leveraging relationships with lenders and insurance companies and title companies. And they've been able to split the bill on buying leads and doing print material and having their websites put together and all of this stuff. And so what I recognized is that nobody was paying attention to another sector, the real estate space, that would also want to pay money to be a part of the real estate agent's business. And so what we do is we create a preferred partner program in these real estate teams that I work with. And we go out to the marketplace and we position the business towards home services. So contractors, painters, plumbers, HVAC, solar companies, moving companies, lawn landscape companies. Real estate agents are always recommending these services to people, but they're never really getting any benefit on the backside. So what we did, or what I did, is said, well, screw that. Let's build this in a way where I'll pay you, you'll pay me rather, and I'll send you my referrals. And we've got this down to a science. Like, we know about how many moves a real estate team can refer to a moving company. So we know how to price it, all of that stuff. But the moving company will actually give us a check every month to be a part of our business, to be on our website, to be on our socials, to get newsletters, presence in our newsletters we send out to the database, to come to our team meetings. And it is an invaluable way. We're putting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars back in the pocket of the team leader, which is zeroing out their costs to do marketing, to do advertising, and to do sales. And it's a cheat code. It really is. I mean, it's a way that we can grow very aggressively, but very profitably, because we can keep the cash that we would normally give to realtor.com. We can keep it in our pocket, and we still get the leads. And so it's just thinking about business in a slightly different way, and it's having such a cool effect on the businesses that we're doing it in, because they're getting closer and closer and closer to zeroing out tens of thousands of dollars in marketing expenditures. But when the co-marketing partner, the home service provider, gets invested in the agent's business, they're sending more referrals, they're showing up to more meetings, they're offering more value. It's really interesting to see what's happening as a result of doing it.
But Grant, not to play devil's advocate again, but Grant, I mean, the lender's been helping me with postcards and helping me with all this kinds of stuff. But I need an insurance company. I mean, landscaper's going to actually pay me to get them leads. I mean, I don't understand this. So that would be a typical response from a typical agent.
Yeah, they're not going to pay you for leads. They're going to pay you for referrals. I think what everybody's got to remember is, like, Angie's List is the homeowner's equivalent to Zillow. They're having to pay Angie's List thousands of dollars every month to buy leads, when they really just want to mow lawns. So if somebody could just give them a client that's like, yep, I'm going to sign up with you because Dave told me to, that is a hot lead. That's a warm referral, right? We all get referrals in real estate. We know how easy the business is. And so it's really, we figured out how to monetize that relationship. And the people that we're working with, they absolutely love it, because they're getting bottom of funnel, ready to transact people that are ready to just sign up for their plumbing service, instead of them having to build all these automations and build all these systems and build all these processes. And so it's really, we've attached a tangible value to the referrals that we're providing per industry. And so the answer is yes.
So you talked earlier about that 60-minute video that you want to help people with. Do you have a website for that? Do you have a URL for that we can send to people?
I do. I'll drop it. Should I put it in the chat or in the comments?
Put it in the chat. We'll grab it.
Okay, I put it in the chat. I dropped a link to it, and then I put a code in there. And again, the course is $7 whole. But if your audience uses the code, it'll give them $5 off. It'll be $2 whole. But it's 60 minutes of me breaking down how to effectively communicate your value so that you can get your buyer agency rep agreement signed and you can keep getting paid as a real estate professional. There's a lot of great philosophies. There's a lot of great scenarios. There's a lot of great practice that built into that training. So I teach the philosophy, and then I help you understand how to practice it. And
So I want everybody to know that this is something that everybody can use. I mean, a lot of times we look at stuff, and for me, I mean, I'm really good at this, the shiny object. I'm really good at the silver bullet. And what I try to do with that myself, and I know a lot of people do it too, but they actually spend all the money. I try not to spend all the money. I try to understand what it is, have conversations, figure it out. Here you've got something that's proven that works. I can tell you that it does, and I can stand by it. And everything this guy says, there's no bullshit involved. And because like, I'm probably your biggest fan in the world, I think. But anyway, beside that, things work. Now I want to ask you one other question before we're coming up on time here, and you've had, over the years, you've had rants, okay? you've had some rants, and I think there's a few years where nothing happened, but you started doing the rants again, and
Yeah.
it's like they really you're laughing about it. To me, it's like, yeah, maybe you got a little of this from me. Yeah, go. It's like,
Yeah.
so when you talk about when you go on a rant, is it are your rants just a point where you just get fed up with hearing something, or it's like, okay, it's good content today?
Yeah, well, actually, it's almost impossible to create the rants just because I want to do it. Like I can't force it. And so normally it comes after, I'm in a team meeting, or I'm hearing an agent say something over and over again, or I'm reading something on social media. And obviously it's a rant. I'm a little upset, a little heated when I'm talking about it. But normally the motivation is from an experience I've just had where I'm kind of fed up. And for me, it's like if I was a team leader and I was standing in front of the room and I was talking to this audience, what's the Braveheart speech that I would give to rally the troops and to motivate people to reorient their focus on the thing that we're supposed to be focused on, to show up and work and to do what you're supposed to do, to have integrity, to honor your commitments, and yada, yada. And so it's just these moments. I'll be in these meetings and something will happen and somebody will say something and I'll want to flip a table and I'll go on a rant, and it is pretty good content because it's from the heart. And I think what a lot of people need to hear at the time. Those rants are fun. I can't just do them when I feel like it because the content, I've tried, it's no good. but when I'm upset,
they get a little bit raw sometimes too, but that's like me. I mean, I've used the thing before. I used to bring value, and I did a video last week. I'm not sure if it's had been up or not. I don't remember if I did it live or not, but I've been pretty fed up with hearing everybody say, you got to bring value and you got to bring your value. And I just kept hearing it. And it's just like, come on, man. I mean, we've talked about it for the last 40 minutes or so about, winning a friend. I mean, I think if we had to have a dialogue, if we had to have a title for something of cold calling or physical calling or warm calling, it would be win a friend. We talked about you cannot go with the aspect of getting something back from them, right? It has to be, what are you going to be giving them? How are you going to be giving it to them? How can you help them with an issue that they have? And granted, you know as well as I do, and everybody listening to this that's done a cold call, that's done a physical call, that's expired call, knows that they're going to get hung up on, or they're going to get told to go to hell. They're going to get a GFU. They're going to get all this stuff, right? But you got to keep going. You just got to keep going, and that's one of the other things. Grant, I want to thank you so much for being on the broadcast. Is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap this up and get rolling here?
I got to interview somebody I admire and respect recently. Her name's Tina Call. It's one of the top 5 teams at EXP. And she said something that I've said to a lot of people: success is boring. True success is actually really boring. If you can show up every day and have 5 conversations with people that are interested in buying or selling real estate, you will be unbelievably successful in this industry. But so many people avoid the work. They avoid picking up the phone. They avoid having the conversations. They avoid whatever it is that is a requirement for them to get to where they want to go. And so I think that the thing that I would leave you with is just understanding that real success is actually kind of boring. It's not as flashy and it's not as fancy as people make it out to be. And normally the people that are doing that, in a lot of cases, are overcompensating, meaning they're not as successful as they're letting on. Because when you got it, you don't necessarily feel the need to flaunt it. Well,
good.
I think the other thing that I would tell you is really dig deep in your identity. What I said earlier in the broadcast is our actions will never contradict the beliefs about ourselves. One of the things that I've experienced in my journey is just transformation at every level. I've had to sacrifice parts of myself to become a great marketer, to become a great salesperson, to become a great advertiser, to become great at building a brand, to become great at developing discipline and being consistent. And this is something that I don't think enough people spend time focused on in their personal development, is who do I believe that I am. Cast a vision for your life. Understand who you need to become in order to achieve that vision, and give as much as you possibly can give to this world. And money will be a byproduct of those things. And eventually it'll become something that you don't even wake up every day and you chase after. You'll go after the impact far more. You'll pursue the impact far more than you'll pursue the income. And so those are kind of some rambles, but that's what I would leave it with.
No, that's all mic drop and stuff. So, I want to let everybody know that we've got Grant's information on the screen at @GrantWise on Instagram and GW.com. Just really quickly, we mentioned this name earlier today, and we have Kendall Bonner coming on next week, team leader of the Kendall Bonner team in Tampa. She's also the new VP of Industry Relations at EXP. She is an amazing human being. She's going to be on with us next week. We're going to have a lot of fun. And then fortunately or unfortunately, we'll be back in New Jersey next week, and we will be rocking and rolling and having a good time again back there. So, Grant, two things really quickly. Number one, I ask this of everybody, and I get different answers all the time. How do I help you grow your business?
I give you the same answer every single time you ask me this question. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep spreading some Dave Finale out in the world, and doing the good work that you're doing. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your experience. You've been in this industry a long time, and the value that you offer, and the friendship. And the other way you can help me is by taking me out for a steak, like you said you would. So that'd be the second request.
There's no question that's going to happen, and that will help you grow your business. Last but not least, I mean, we always do the hat, but you've been on so many times, you got so many hats. We're gonna have to get you one of these. This is a GW hat.
Oh, there we go.
We have to get you one of those. One of my favorite hats. And of course, this one. We'll get you one of these too, but you've got a few of them anyway. I think you probably have 5 or 6 hats, by the way. Anyway, yeah. Everybody, I want to thank everybody for watching this either live or with the recording later on. Grant, thanks so much for coming on. We're gonna have a great time the rest of the week, and we're going to see you soon, hopefully. Everybody, thank you so much. See you next week with Kendall Bonner. Grant, stay on for a second as we go out. Hit it, Nelson.
Hey.